And good afternoon. So good to have all of you with me on Life Unscripted. I'm your girl, Jeanette Smith. I'm an SI certified life strategist and mindset coach. And Life Unscripted is about all of the things that bring us great value in our lives, whatever we're doing it to the fullest, making better decisions for better living, and highlighting things that help make our lives a little better. And I'm excited about today because we've got a couple of things going on. We're going to honor healthcare workers, nurses in particular. This is National Nurses Week, and yesterday was actually National Nurses Day. And for those of you that don't know a lot about it, it's been around since I want to say, okay, 1953. There it is. The U.S. Department of Health and Education and Welfare decided, hey, we need to do this through President Eisenhower, and so they orchestrated a day and it turned into a week. It ends up and culminates on, I believe, Florence Nightingale's birthday, which will be the 12th of May. And so it's just a special time. And I think with what's going on in our world right now, we really need to appreciate and send much love, prayers, and great energy out to all of those frontline workers who are making it happen. And as you all know, it's not a gender thing. There are male nurses too. And so we just celebrate them all. And I think it's interesting that, check this out, that with over 3 million nurses working in the US today, they make up the highest percentage of the healthcare workforce. Isn't that interesting? And you might not imagine it, but they can sustain back injuries and different things. It says they can do that more than construction workers. Think about lifting people and placing people and doing different things. So nurses are also found not only in hospitals. You'll find registered nurses practicing everywhere, nursing homes. They do home visits. They work in communities to keep people worldwide happy and healthy. And so I just thought that it would be great to honor those who have been doing so much to help us, protect us, take care of us, especially during a pandemic. Nobody has done nursing in a pandemic in our lifetime, probably. There might be a 1% chance, but no one has done this. And so this is all new for all of us. So we're just really thankful for what they offer, their dedication to put themselves in harm's way sometimes in order to minister to us. And as we celebrate Nurses Week, I love that photo, the angel wings with the mask. They really are bearers of health and healing. And as we get ready to do that, I decided, let's go behind the mask, so to speak, and let's talk to a few of them. I'll also incorporate some other video, but particularly now because we are in a place where you all have seen it. We've started opening up state by state different things. We're no longer just on the essential tip anymore. Now you might be able to go out and get your nails done or get your hair done or, get different things done. And while that's awesome and while that's great, I want you to know that the nurses want you to consider some things and keep some things in the forefront of your mind because we aren't out of this yet, right? People can still be asymptomatic. We're not fully out of this yet. And so I thought, well, hey, if we go behind the mask a little bit to show you all what they go through, what they're dealing with, and some of their thoughts about how we're doing it. I even got a whole message about gloves that I'll share with you in a little bit. It was kind of funny to me. But if we can see it from their point of view, then how much more might it give us insight and appreciation for what they do so that we can take better care of ourselves. So maybe we don't have to have them on the front line in the trenches, working as hard and in such a critical state as they are. Hopefully we can flatten this out and zero out those things. So I'm going to share this with you now. This is just a little video that I put together in honor of our nurses.
You're broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round, and you can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Ooh, mountains. We gon' walk it out and ooh, mountains. And I'll rise like the day I rise up.
Some healthcare workers like Imaris Vera say the risk has grown too great.
This isn't going to get any better. America is not prepared, and nurses are not being protected.
Vera says she loves nursing and she's looking for jobs in telehealth, but she has to protect herself and vulnerable members of her family.
I'd rather be without pay for a couple weeks and have to look for another job than possibly lose my life or my family members.
I've been a nurse, an RN, for 32, almost 33 years, going through this every day, day to day, and knowing that I have other duties that involve my family. I have family members that I have to tend to, well, not have to tend to, but I have family members that I have to think about. I have a sister that has stage 4 cancer. I went to see her yesterday on Sunday, and I just drove past her house with a mask on with my husband and my daughter, and I stood on her lawn, and just to see her and knowing that she's going through chemotherapy, and I hadn't seen her in probably 5 weeks.
It's tough. It's tough. It's okay.
Amy DeLine, an ER nurse at Sinai Grace in Michigan, sharing the heartbreaking reality healthcare workers are facing across the nation.
We're losing a lot of patients quickly. And as a nurse and as a doctor, usually you can give yourself a couple moments to regain composure, but now you don't even have the moment to do that, because as soon as there's one death, you've got somebody else in the process of crashing, and you're running from one bed to the next without any time to really absorb what has just gone on until the end of your shift.
The whole mask thing, I mean, I think that affects everybody, but it's just become so normal now. I mean, there was only a couple of situations really before where we would have to use the N95 mask that we have to use now, like, for example, a tuberculosis patient, something like that, but now it's like all the time, constantly, just a part of your normal routine. Put that on, put your goggles on, put your face shield on. So probably that part of it has been the hardest thing actually on the job. And then also the part where we're so used to just going in and running and saving people, and we've had to really be mindful of the fact that we have to protect ourselves first.
What is it really like to put all of that gear on?
So it's not the most comfortable thing. If you think about, you're just breathing in your own breath and too and everything, you start to get a headache after a while. Sometimes you get a little bit dizzy.
What's the toughest part for you personally?
Well, I think, like for so many of us, everything's changed so much, just our normal activities of daily living that we did, just going to the store, going for coffee, that kind of thing's all been kind of taken away. I just said, I want people to just appreciate each other a little bit more, not just nurses and healthcare workers, but really just appreciate each other in general every day, and just not take for granted the little things, you know, going to get the coffee, going somewhere and having, you know, an interaction with another human, stuff like that. I think that we really took all that for granted. You know, we took for granted all the services and you know, like going to get your nails done, your hair done, going out to eat at a restaurant. I think that we really took a lot of that for granted. I mean, I know I did, you know, until one day it just wasn't there anymore, you know. So I just really hope that people can appreciate and respect each other a little bit more when all this is over. You know, keep appreciating nurses, healthcare, first responders, stuff like that. You know, they send us food almost every day and things like that. But just keep that energy and that appreciation going, you know, for people who are out here serving the community, taking care of people, you know, police, firefighters, paramedics, nurses, and anybody, you know, that's out here doing stuff in the community. I just hope that that's something that we can take from this, you know, and just take better care of each other and ourselves.
And that's what it's all about, right? Taking better care of ourselves and taking care of each other. I hope that you really heard their heart. They love what they do. They've been doing it for a while, some for over 30 years. They do it because they love people. And so as these laws continue to be lessened and relax the boundaries of where we can go and what we do continue, let's continue also to think about them. Because when we take care of us, we're also actually taking care of them, right? So hope you hear my heart. Monique says, hearts, 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 and love. Thank you to all the nurses and essential workers for all they do. Absolutely. Absolutely. Regina says, hearts, hearts, and prayers. Absolutely. That's what we want. We want to send them all of our love, more hearts and absolutely. That's what we want to do. We want to flood it. But the other way we can help them, right, is that by taking care of ourselves. And taking care of ourselves is, if you all follow me, if you're not following me, please follow me. I do several things here to cover all the gamuts. I've just decided in this season to give from my creative faculty all the things that I am. So in the morning, we do morning devotionals. On Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have what we call the midweek motivational jam. We play old school music. I give you a motivational nugget. We play games. We have fun. Just a way to self-care by releasing, laughing, and sharing with one another. And then Life Unscripted, Tuesdays or Thursdays at 1 p.m. to give you insights for tools and things that you can put in your toolkit. Some you may know about, some you may not know about, but to help you to live fully, to live authentically, and to continue doing things and learning things that will help you take care of yourself from the inside out. And one of the tools that I had to learn about was meditation. When I was a journalist and just starting out in my career, actually, I had a lump. And I had it since high school, so I didn't even think about it. And as I was interviewing a doctor, actually, I said, hey, do you think this is, you know how we do with doctors? Hey, what is going on with this? What do you think this is? So I did. And I thank God that I did, actually, because he said, you know, you really need to get that checked. And so I did. And after the biopsy, they told me it was a malignant tumor. I had no idea. But what I did recognize was, as I was starting in news that first year, I watched it grow. And I knew that it was from the stress. There's just a different rhythm to the newsroom. There's just a different, expectation. There's just different things that are going on. And hi, Jenna, I'm so glad you're in. And I just didn't realize, I knew that I was under stress, but I didn't realize the effects of stress on my body. Now, being older, being wiser, being able to coach others, learning more about our physical body, the physiological aspects of our body. I understand what hormones and chemicals do to our body, because we're all energy. We're just energy, right? And what those things can do to you. And so I'm cancer-free. Thank goodness they were able to do the surgery to remove it. I never had to do chemo or any of those other things, but I went on a journey to find out what, outside of the awesome wisdom of Western medicine, what things are out there to help me relieve my stress? And this was back in the 80s, and people were, you know, it was very, very close culture of people that were talking about meditation and things like that, and yoga, and you know, that was still very new. But I went on a journey to figure it out because I knew I needed tools in my toolbox to help me stay cancer free. And I'm so glad that I did, because that beautiful journey has led me to places and to meet people who are just phenomenal in what they do. And they've added so much value to my life that I will always be grateful. Yes, thank God. And thanks, Jen. I appreciate that. Thank you. And so I am so excited because I get to share one of those fabulous people with you all today. She's very dear to my heart. She is a part of the team that got me really rooted and grounded in my coaching. I went through a period of time when I realized, okay, I'm doing all this stuff for me, but I really have this drive and I really have this sense of urgency to help other people be empowered, to learn about the things that are holding them back. Not only to learn about them, but then give them tools to help them push past them, actionable things, actionable ways, strategic ways of getting in, intervening, and helping people make those better decisions for better living. And as I was looking and searching and looking and searching, I found them. So I'm so excited for you all to meet her. Her name is Magali Pasha. Let me just show you a little bit about my friend. You can find them on Facebook for those of you, and hello across all the platforms. I see you on Periscope. I see you on YouTube. I see you on Facebook. No matter what your platform, you can send a comment and I'll be able to share it. So here's their page, the Coaching Institute. I love this group photo up here, but you can see they've got all their the videos and archives from that's meditation, from some of their group coaching work through the Coaching Institute. All of that you can find on their page, the Coaching Institute. You see it here, just at the Coaching Institute, and you'll be able to find them and connect. And I really hope that you do. So would you welcome with me through your emojis and just great energy and love that you send out, my dear, dear, dear friend and my mentor, Magali Pasha. How are you, Magali?
Wonderful. It was really touching and moving to listen and watch your segment on the nurses. So
Thank you so much. And I'm excited because I know some of them will be watching, because they're all trying to keep a sense of normalcy for themselves as well and add things to their toolbox. And I love sharing things like tapping and meditation and things that they can squirrel away in a corner, you know, and just take a moment in a closet or do these different kind of things. And I'm excited because the tool you're sharing today is one of meditation. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got there? Because I know you as the co-founder of Robbins Madonna's Training and the Coaching Institute and SI, where I came through getting certified. And you could do relationship coaching, group coaching, and all those things. But now you have this thriving meditation group. And what led you on that journey to now sharing that tool with the world?
Well, the meditation group started about 1.5 years ago when I decided that there were probably a lot of people like us who like to kind of go into their inner landscape and maybe have some mystical experiences, or maybe they don't know anything about meditation, but we could come together and experiment. So the meditation group I lead is very experimental. It's very universal. People come from all over the world. And I spent about 25 years meditating on my own and with other groups before starting this group. So I have kind of a long history in myself with different kinds of meditation practices. But I love doing it together, you know?
That's what I was going to say. And I was going to show some photos because look how beautiful. I was on several times and it's 5 p.m. my time. So sometimes I can't always make it, but I like to go back and look at it. But when you see people from all over the world coming together and in meditation with one another, there's just this synergistic energy that is so dynamic, because people, I mean, they're just really there to get that sense of peace and interconnection for themselves. And then when you put a bunch of people from all over the world together, it's just a great energy.
It is incredible. I feel everyone's energy, and also sometimes we together direct our energy out towards someone who might need it more, or towards a part of the world.
Yeah.
So that's something we could also play with a little bit when we get into practice today.
I love it. And you all that are on, she's going to lead us in meditation. And I've invited everyone I know, because, and you all share this before we get into the practice. Now's the time. If you haven't shared this post, share it, like it, make sure you invite your people in, because, I realize, I was reminded, I mentioned meditation to someone else the other day, and she said, well, I don't know, because and she mentioned her denomination. I said, baby, it has nothing to do with your denomination. Like it's okay. You're good. Like you can keep all of that. This is about your own self-care and your own wellness and well-being. And what I want to do is kind of debunk those myths and open people's experience and mind so that they really understand what it is and what it's not. What is the modality of meditation that you tend to focus in? Because there's so many different types.
So I'm an experimenter. So I bring in a lot of different styles, and I like to combine some breathing work, breathing exercises that help regulate our nervous system, relax us, ground our energy, also with some energy exercises that kind of stimulate us and help us find our inner landscape and our energy centers, and just feel into that very empowered, very expanded part that we all have. And then I also like to bring in the creative and the spiritual, whatever a person's tradition is. Or let's say they don't have any tradition, they're atheists. Right. It doesn't matter. It's about finding your own inner truth, your own intuition, your own higher self. And it's wonderful if you have a belief in God or in any belief that can be part of it, but also just really feeling into your own peacefulness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that is so inclusive, and you get that sense. And I've even been on when you've said certain things, and I could feel kind of some walls just kind of go boop, 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 and fall down. Cherie says, and this by the way is a dear friend and sister of mine who we do women's work group that I was telling you about. And so she says she was first introduced to meditation as a child with her dad through self-realization.
Yeah, and I love that. I also have done a bit with self-realization and Kriya Yoga. So some of the energy techniques are really coming from there.
We've got parents and families at home now. We're bundled all up together because everybody needs to stay put for a while. But is this something that you would also recommend that families could share together?
Absolutely. And children are so much more naturally kind of in touch with their inner landscape. That's why, they can be so creative and play imaginary games and feel things. And, I have 5 kids now, they're older.
Right.
But I got the joy of watching them play. And I feel like that's such a natural state, right?
Yeah.
And in a way, when we go into our inner space as adults, we get to kind of open up to that childish creativity and expansion. So you can do this with your kids. I've had people in the meditation group holding their baby as they meditate. Dogs are great. I was hoping your dog would be here, Jeanette.
She's meditating. Trust me, she's meditating right here in this stool. She is in a deep 7th layer heaven somewhere. She's gone.
I love it. I love it. My dog often meditates with me too.
Does she?
Yeah. Sometimes her panting, it helps me remember to
breathe.
Go in more because she can be a little distracting.
That's interesting. How in this time of disruption, everything's on pause, but that doesn't mean that everything in us kind of goes into pause. Meditation, I've found, has been a great tool to help, because we can't control what's happening out here, but we absolutely can control what's happening in here.
Yeah.
How have you found meditation being a beneficial support during these times of crisis?
Well, I think just like you said, when we're very focused outward, which
Mhm.
is really all the time, but when there's an emergency that goes on and on like this, and there's so much news and so many family and friends needing us, of course, we're even more focused outside. And then there's inner stress that shows up, right?
Right.
So, like, I know in me, definitely more stress, definitely more distraction. And so, whether you have a practice or you're starting a practice that's just kind of coming back home, getting into a place of tranquility and peacefulness, of course, helps then when you're going out to serve others or to just deal with the groceries, which are much more complicated to deal with, or whatever, or whatever else it is, our fears, because there's the actual crisis, and then there's also the kind of energy of fear that is very big right now that we all need to have our own relationship with. And I think meditation really helps with any kind of fear, finding what's more true, what's more balanced, what's more loving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neil says, I was introduced through martial arts. Very interesting. But I recently started again with worship music or smooth jazz. Is that a type, or am I just relaxing with good music?
I love that. I absolutely think music is this like portal into meditation. And I actually do that in some of the group sessions. We do music for like 1 minute, meditate with it, and then notice, how do I feel from that song? And then another song, and really check out where the music takes you on a journey.
I love that. So what you're saying is you don't really have to, there don't have to be all these rules about it. It's like whatever takes you to that place.
Yeah, you can look at a beautiful painting on your computer. You can pull up a beautiful painting or a beautiful photograph and focus on that, and let yourself go on a 3-minute journey with that work of art. We can use so much to, I think the essential thing is whether we're focusing, quieting the mind, getting more concentrated, that really strengthens kind of our spiritual mind so that we're not kind of shaking and going chasing our thoughts. And there's lots of tools for that. Some people stare at a candle flame. I personally don't do that one, but that's a traditional one. Some people focus on their breath. That's a really common tool, is to be with your breath. I also like to use color as a focus. And so just like checking into one color, like the color blue, and seeing everything that you see or feel or know that's blue. And that's a meditation.
Absolutely.
So there's lots of ways. Yeah, I love it. I love all the ways.
We're going to open this up because we really want you to be able to to ask questions. And if you have any questions before we go into a meditation, go ahead and post those now. And then after we come out of it, I know Magali loves to hear, what were your impressions? What did you experience? What did you see? So we'll be doing some of that too when we come out of it. But for those of you who might be new to meditation, if I haven't asked something that you are kind of curious about or what you need to know, how do you tell people to kind of prepare as we get ready to go into an exercise?
Well, I have a question for them to prepare with. Anyone who's listening now or later, to check out, why do you want to meditate? What in you wants to meditate? Is it for relaxation? Is it for truth? Is it for connection? Is it for your faith? Figure out your why, and just kind of hold that as a very precious thing that you have.
I'm going to put that up as a question. What's your why? Check out why you want to meditate. So basically, you're kind of helping us set a focus and an intention for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it can be for yourself. It can also be for other people.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So if you all don't have any questions, then Magali, I'm going to invite you to go ahead and lead us into
Okay, cool.
our exercise.
Okay, so we're going to do 3 exercises, but we'll take little breaks just to check in. At least, Jeanette, I'll check in with you. So I wanted to start with a breathing technique where we're going to breathe with an emotion. So I didn't prepare you. I hope it's okay, Jeanette, that you can open your arms up a little bit.
Yep, I'm good.
Okay, great. So let's just start by, as we breathe in, and it's good to have your back straight to be comfortable. And this is the only exercise where we're going to really be moving, but I think it's nice to open up our chest area and just breathing in a sense of openness, wideness as you breathe in and your arms reach out. And then as you exhale, give yourself a hug and give yourself some love. And just trust yourself, however that comes to you. And as you open up to peace. And just let yourself imagine peace as you open up and inhale, whatever that word brings, peace. And then as you exhale, give yourself more love. And let's do that a couple more times. Opening up, breathing in peace. And exhaling love, self-care, nurturing, connection. Now let's open up to joy. Open up and expand and breathe in joy. And exhale calm, tranquility. And again, open up joy, breathe in joy, however that presents for you, joy. And as you exhale, peace, tranquility, calm. And then take a big breath in, any emotion you want to welcome in today, anything that's on your mind. Just breathe in that positive emotion. And as you exhale, give yourself another emotion. And just give yourself a hug as you give yourself that emotion. And then just coming back to neutral and just watching inside right now. How does it feel? Your eyes might be open or closed, but you're checking out your inner landscape, just noticing. What is it like today for me? Do you notice any sensations in the body? Do you notice thoughts, feelings, kind of rhythms of energy flowing, or a stillness? And there's never a right or wrong when we're checking in. It's about just being with ourselves, whatever is going on. And that's really bringing a very deep care to ourself and to our inner experience. And as you notice, you can also bring your acceptance of whatever it is for you today. And you can let your normal breathing just allow that acceptance to fill you, to calm you, to help you let go a little bit more. Just being with that acceptance of yourself right now. And when you're ready, we'll just open our eyes and check in on how that felt.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I just wanted to point out that it's okay if what we feel when we check in is things feel frantic or intense or sad. You know, the point is we're bringing our own love to ourselves. Yeah.
Jeremy says, I love that guidance. What is your personal why for wanting to meditate? Valuable reminder to check in with ourselves and make space for our own needs. Makes the experience a little more focused, right? To connect into wholeness and oneness. And I also love taking spiritual journeys. So check in, you all. Give us some insights about what was that like for you? What did you experience? What did you see? What did you feel? What was it like for you? I recognized right away that a couple of things. So like when you said joy, I immediately smiled.
Yeah.
You know, and just a reminder that words have power, so that the words that we use in our meditations and the words that we use in our day-to-day lives have the power to make us feel something. So it's not like all of a sudden something happened and it just, oh, joy, joy. But I just said the word joy and I could feel joy.
Yeah.
Joy came out. Another thing I noticed was when you told us to hug ourselves, to give ourselves that love.
You're good at that. You're really good at that.
Magali, when you live by yourself, you have to hug yourself.
That is good.
Especially in a quarantine, you better hug yourself. But I noticed that I started rocking. Kind of I think a maternal thing, you know, that kind of self-soothing. And so I realized like, oh, I don't know what that is, like I'm mothering myself almost, like, you know.
Absolutely. And just that physical motion of opening and then embracing is on a somatic level really helpful, because we're opening that energy center up, allowing more air to come in. And then, like you said, that nurturing, like mothering of ourselves. So I like to start sometimes with a breathing practice like that just starts to get everything flowing and lets us know it's okay to, like you said, you felt the smile. Someone else might feel sunshine. Someone else might just be focused on the physical in the body. You don't have to see stuff. You don't have to hear stuff. You just trust whatever comes to you, because we're all kind of wired differently with our senses.
Yeah. And I tend to do this. So this wasn't new, but I see colors pop up for me.
Yeah.
So like purple was popping up for me. Debbie says, I love the breathing and hugging exercise. It brings peace and self-love. Neil says relaxing, but I see the difference with the instructions or guidance into each step. So there is a difference when you're leading yourself in meditation. You have a guided meditation, because sometimes, just like a trainer or a coach in the gym, they can help you kind of get places sometimes you can't get by yourself.
Yeah. I also think it can kind of wake up in oneself the inner guidance. So, you know, you do it with someone else for a while, but then you do it on your own, and your own intuition starts to guide you.
Lead you.
Yeah.
Like a muscle, you kind of build yourself up in that area, right?
Yeah. And you know, purple, Jeanette, it'd be really interesting for you to notice, maybe you already do, where the purple is. Is it in a part of your face or your body when you feel the purple?
I just kind of see it over here.
You see it?
Kind of comes in. And you know how lava lamps look?
Yeah.
It kind of comes in kind of like that.
Yeah.
So Regina said she set her intention for relaxation. And
wonderful.
Neil had set his intention on refocusing.
Yeah.
And Magali set her intention to connect into wholeness and oneness, and also the spiritual journeys. But she also added, she avoids meditating around her little ones. And I did this one with the little ones. And even though it was broken up, I was able to get a small connection with self, which impacted how I responded to them positively.
Nice. Now, the next energy exercise is really fun to do with children.
Okay.
And they're really good at it. So please invite them to do this, okay? And so I also want to, and she just mentioned spiritual journeys. So we're going to do energy balls next, and then we're going to do a little journey to a tree and feel the wisdom and the grounded presence of a tree inside ourselves. So we'll do the energy balls, and then maybe we'll go right from there, if it's okay, Jeanette, right into the tree.
Sure. Gabby says, I've always loved Magali's calmness. Follow your own inner guidance, practice, and accept.
And Gabby meditates with me a lot. Nice to see you here, Gabby.
Awesome.
Okay, great. So just imagining, and you can have your eyes opened or closed, but imagining you can make a ball right in front of you, just an imaginary ball. And as you slowly move your hands, start to feel the energy between your hands. You might need to bring them a little closer, then a little farther. But everybody can just start sensing this imaginary energy ball, but you really feel the energy. And you can give your ball a sort of inner texture or color, a quality. Like there might be a healing ball, there might be a magical ball, there might be a very unity focused ball where the whole world is in that ball. So whatever qualities you want to give to your ball of energy, and let your breath help you in creating this energy ball. Feel the energy coming from your palms towards each other. You might want to make the energy ball bigger or smaller. And you can give yourself or someone else in the world this energy ball too. So let's say your energy ball is full of joy and you know someone who needs that joy. You can just imagine that person and giving them that energy ball. Or it could be you have a hurt knee and you want to give that energy to your knee. So just take a moment now to give that energy to yourself or to someone else. And just feeling that intention, that caring of giving that energy. And let's do one more energy ball. Make it a little different this time. Now you're a pro. So just start working with your energy ball, giving it a texture. Maybe it's sparkly, maybe it's fluid, warm, heavy, light. Maybe it has a color, maybe it's all the colors of the rainbow. And see if there's an emotion or a quality you want to add to it. It could be a ball full of humor and jokes or a ball full of tranquility. And let your breath just come through your hands as you make this energy ball. Imagine that your hands can breathe. And finding a place inside of yourself or a place in the world or a person or a group of people that you want to share this energy with. And just bringing them in through words, thoughts, intentions, feelings, your own inner knowing. It could be through hearing or seeing, and just holding them in your intention, in your mind, and giving them this energy. Or giving that energy to yourself, to your day, to a part of your life, or both at once. Why not? And when you can just feel good in that giving and in yourself, letting it go, returning to your breath, allowing yourself to take a little trip in your in-breath and out your out-breath, just following the breath, allowing your breath to connect your outer world with your inner world. And notice how when you exhale, everything can get a little bit slower, easier, a little more relaxed, and then the in-breath just follows. And just allowing the breath to be very easy and natural. And your focus is just there with your breathing and anything else that arises. Noticing any thoughts or physical sensations, feelings, and without following them, just allowing them. You might say the word allow to yourself, or accept, or any other word that comes to you intuitively. And now imagining a tree that maybe you know from some place you've been, maybe a tree that is just in your imagination, but you can really sense it. And just opening up all our senses right now to this experience of a tree, allowing your sense of sight, your sense of smell, your sense of hearing, your sense of touch, and most importantly, your sense of knowing, your sense of allowing and creating, inviting your imagination. And with this tree, start to experience the ground around the tree, where the roots go into the earth, noticing what is growing around the tree, the trunk of the tree. Maybe there are insects or other plants. And maybe your tree is in summer or winter or fall or spring. And begin to notice the quality of the air around your tree. Maybe there's a gentle breeze or rain or sun. And you might be very close to your tree or you might be further away from your tree. Just invite any experience right now of your tree. Sensing the branches of the tree and how life flows through the tree. Maybe there are leaves or buds or fruit or flowers. And just letting this tree take you on a very gentle journey. You might feel that the tree is part of you. You might feel that you're sitting with the tree or looking at it or just sensing it. And maybe you have a question for this tree. And if a question comes to you, feel free to ask this tree. It might be part of your intention for meditating. It might be related to the presence of the tree, the grounded, strong, connected quality of the tree, or some other way the tree teaches you. And feeling in yourself that same quality that you admire in the tree, whatever that is. Perhaps it's flow or strength or connection with all the other animals and insects and the sun and the water and the earth. But just really inviting that into your own experience right now. And for a moment, just feeling as if the tree had our back and we were just as grounded, just as present, and just allowing that flow and strength and steadiness of a tree to be part of our experience. And when you're ready, returning to noticing your breath as it flows in and out. We're going to take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. As we breathe in, we're gathering more energy into our system. And as we breathe out through the mouth, we're letting the air out, but keeping the energy. Let's do that 2 more times. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. Once more, in through the nose and out through the mouth, clearing. And when you're ready, stretching, opening your eyes, maybe yawning. We had a friend join us there, I see. Oh, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I picked up a puppy on the way to the tree.
I wish my tree had a puppy like that. I love your puppy.
She's getting into it. That was awesome. Like, you all really want to hear your insights in terms of, what did you experience? What did you see? What things came up for you? Mark says beautiful.
Yeah, that's my husband.
I
Thanks,
know. Hi, Mark.
Mark loves trees, so trees are always very special for him.
I've done that one with you in the group before. A tree, and then we went some other places too. But I think what was really interesting this time when I did the meditation was the roots. You said, what do you see going, around the roots? What's down there? What do you notice? What's covering them? And my roots didn't have a bunch of stuff around it. It just was like, how big roots come out of the ground, and and it just kind of signified to me like this really support, this really grounded support. And then when I looked up, the tree was huge. It didn't have fruit or anything. It just was just all this greenery, and it felt like a protective presence.
I love that. I love that.
So I left that feeling like rooted, grounded, and protected. It just was a beautiful feeling.
And this is a nice one for these times when we might need to go into situations sometimes that increase our stress.
Mm-hmm.
And just taking a couple minutes with a tree journey and feeling that groundedness. Or, for whatever reason, we have one thing that sometimes gets forgotten right now is we have normal stress too.
That's true.
So,
right.
Just like have a cold. It's not the pandemic.
Right.
It's cold,
right.
and it creates stress. Or get into a dispute with someone, or have a bad mood, and you just the energy balls are really good for that too, because it's like what you were saying about having that power to create our own experience. I think energy balls really give us that sensation.
And I love that. That's one of the practices that I love using with our women's group. You can see, it said, there we are in California, and they're getting ready to do their energy balls.
I love it.
And so and not only that, I like to share tools with people that, like we're saying, meditation is not just about the crisis. It's a great tool if you don't use it, or you want to level up your practice, but it's also something for every day, because as you said, we have our normal day-to-day stresses, and life happens, and you always want to be able to do those things for yourself where I don't have to go out to a massage parlor, or I don't have to, I love it. Listen, I still get my massages, but I'm just saying, these are the things that you can do for you. Monique says, amazing. I hesitated on asking you a question of how to protect energy as an empath, and I got my answer during the meditation. Stay grounded. Let the energy fly by like the wind through your branches.
Oh, I love that. That's beautiful. Also, Monique, another one you might want to play with is when you make the energy balls, imagine it becoming a really big bubble all around you. That's only lets the good in and only lets the good out.
Mhm.
And that's like a invisible shield all around you, but it lets the good in and it lets the good out.
Right.
But it keeps that, as empaths, often there's like an extra sensitivity. Right.
Crystal says, so powerful. She loves
Hi,
daily
Crystal.
meditations. Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Monique says, thank you. Thank you. She loves that.
Right. Yeah.
What are the other things that, for those who are just getting started, what would you suggest in terms of building a meditative practice for yourself?
Yeah. Well, some people like guided meditation,
Yeah.
and if you like that, go for it. There are so many tools. There's apps, there's groups, there's classes, right?
Right.
Wonderful. And some people actually want to do like what your friend, viewer, I don't know what to call him, participant said about meditating with music.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And a really common one that I think is most taught nowadays is focusing on the breath, just being with our own breath for 5 minutes, just really sensing that inhale and that exhale. And what I like to add to that practice is that, because thoughts will get noticed, and sometimes what stops a person from meditating is they say, I'm bad at it, I just keep thinking. And you know what?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? All of us have 60,000 thoughts a day.
A day.
Yeah. So our mind will think, and that's okay. So it doesn't mean you're bad at meditating. It just means you're human. So when you notice the thinking, just allow it. See if you can just sense it being a bit away from you, the thoughts, but they don't have to disappear. And bring your attention back to your breathing or to the music, to whatever your focus object is. It could be a color, it could be a tree, whatever it is. But you don't have to be in any kind of combat with the thought. You don't have to extinguish it. You don't have to chase it. It's just what your brain, your mind does, like we breathe, like our heart beats.
I love that. And, I've found too, sometimes with clients, we were talking about doing different things. We are so productivity driven. And, we're so hypercritical because we're always in assessing mode. It's like, you don't have to judge what you're doing just right now. You could just be in, do it, give yourself the space and grace to kind of it's whatever. We're not going for perfection. We're going for the experience.
Yes, absolutely. And it builds, just doing 5 minutes a day is really powerful. There was a period in my life when the kids were all quite young, and I was like the chauffeur. I must have done at least 10 car rides a day to different things.
Wow.
And I decided every day to get to one of my daughter's schools 15 minutes early. And I was the first one there, so I got the best parking spot right in front of the school. And I just closed my eyes and would meditate for about 10 minutes. And because I knew I could, if I showed up there, I could meditate in the car. No one would bother me for those 10 minutes.
I love it.
So if we find something in our day, like with all habits, something in our day to kind of tie it to, like even just when you're sitting having your morning coffee, really meditating with that coffee or tea and just feeling it. For children, some of the parents who listen might be too healthy for this, so you can use fruit instead. But we used to do with our children an M&M meditation. Where you would just focus on the colors of the candy, the taste, one by one. So it would take a good 5 minutes to eat 3 M&Ms.
Right. That's good mindfulness in eating, though. That's
meditation.
Yes, absolutely. When I used to meditate, and it's so funny. I didn't realize it at the time. That's what I was doing. But when I was in news, remember I was talking about all the stress.
Yeah.
And so even as I, moved up and was working at the network level, one of the things that I realized was putting on my makeup became a time of meditation because the room was quiet. It had, the lights, whatever, but usually there wasn't large amount of traffic in the makeup room. So it kind of became my way out of all that was going on out there, and helped me take a moment before I went out. And people were like, how long are you gonna be in there doing? And I realized, oh no, I'm kind of meditating in here while I'm doing this. This is
Yes. I think a lot of women actually also find their bathrooms are like a sacred space for that. And it makes sense, we're taking that time out, sort of preparing.
I think men find it a sacred space to squirrel away and hide out too. Julie says, my why is for improving my health and internal connection. I enjoy my meditation with Magali time. Yes, we all do.
Thank you, Julie. And Julie is an incredible example of a person who has had so much physical pain due to different injuries in her life. And she used meditation to really create amazing healing. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad that that's working for you. Yeah. Well, I want to share some other tools that you have. You've authored many books. I've mentioned the Coaching Institute. For those of you, if you really enjoyed what we did today, you can go check out their archives because they're on their Facebook page, the Coaching Institute. You see it right there. And there we are. We're live on the page.
Hi us.
Hi us. And but you can scroll down and watch other sessions that Magali's had. There's some coaching in there too. There's Mark. Hey, Mark.
And the books are also on Amazon, Jeanette. They're actually not on our Facebook page, but you can find any of the books that Mark and I have written on Amazon.com too.
Well, guess what, Magali? Who's your girl?
Oh, you got it all set up there. Look at you.
The strategic intervention handbook, which was a staple for us as we were going through coaching. And then also she has another book that I want to share with you.
Love Happier there.
Love Happier. It's just, I've got to click through a bunch of stuff to get to it, but here it is. You can also find that on Amazon as well. The Art and Practice of Relationship. Yes.
And that's another thing. Meditation can really help us in our relationships because it can give us the skill to slow down before we react in a way that's not from our truth or from our love,
Yeah.
Like I got to watch a little bit of your time a couple days ago. I forget who your guest was, but talking about pause.
Oh, pushing pause. Yeah.
Pushing pause. And I find that's what meditation really serves us with as well.
Absolutely.
That added perspective, as well as prayer, right? Prayer is meditation.
Absolutely. And today we were talking about boundaries. And so for me, that's a part of that because self-care, to be able to do that, you have to have self-love, and then self-care gives you the boundaries, right? So you say, this is my time. I need this time for myself. I have been so excited to have you on, and so excited to share you with my tribe and to meet your tribe. And so I'm glad that we were able to work this out. You are just my big ball of love and healing. And so I will always be, I'll always be around. You'll always see me around, but I want you all to connect with them because they've got fantastic things going. And for those of you who are interested in coaching, check them out on the Coaching Institute on the Facebook page. And those of you who are looking just to either start your meditative practice or to level up your meditation practice, she'll give you great tools for that too.
Yeah, and the group is worldwide and it's free.
I love that.
So it's just really about connecting with ourselves and each other. And that's every Monday at 2 p.m. And we're going to also start broadcasting it here too on Facebook.
I love it.
Okay. And that magalipesha.com is where people can sign up for the free.
Okay. So let's put that back up. That's when you sign up for the meditation. And as you saw, it is always on Mondays.
Mondays at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard. It used to be every other week, but now because of the pandemic, I thought we needed a little bit more.
Yes, and we're so grateful that you do it all the time.
And I'm so grateful for you, Jeanette, and everything you do. And I'll have to interview you about your coaching practice and your contribution. So
Oh, that's so sweet. I appreciate you. Well, thank you for your time and just sending you all the
Take
love
care,
and blessings.
everybody.
Everyone, you know, I always tell you, love, 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 love you to life. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Go out and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.